Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 4 of Sugar Detox. How is everybody doing right now? Where are you all popping in from? Let me know in the chat. Where are you coming in from? Where's home for you as like we head out for this beautiful Memorial Day weekend? It's been so great these last couple weeks, these last couple days. I mean, we have like learned so much. We've gone down from like, what is sugar detox? What does that actually look like? Like, how are we going to feel? Where is the brain going to feel? How about the gut? Like, so much, we've actually learned in the last 4 days. And today, like yesterday, we talked about the importance of building a supportive network and what that looks like for you. And how do you overcome these sugar detox challenges? So, what I want to say is, I just want to say hi to everybody, and I just want to let everybody pop in and let's start getting going here. Um, Today we're going to actually talk about um what are you really feeling that generic diets are not taking into account your unique needs? I know I've talked about this quite a bit in the with the VIPs. And the one of the things that's really important for you as you're doing a sugar detox or changing your nutrition plan is figuring out what works for you. Like, so it's personalized for you as an individual. And like, it's time to discover how much protein do you need? How much fat do you need? What does your carbohydrate load look like? Because we know that as an individual, our macros and where we're getting our energy from is so important. So, as we're looking at optimizing your metabolism, which I'm going to talk about today, the flexibility is going to be important. So, at one moment, like if you're working out and you're moving your body, I want you to be more of a sugar burner, right? Because we're going to be burning the sugar out of the muscle, and we're going to want to have the energy so that we can like climb that mountain, swim through that ocean, be on that paddle board, or do your spin class if you're doing indoor activities. But we want that flexibility for you to go into like fat, sugar burning, and then flip to fat burning in order for you to reach your goals. So when we're actually looking at a flexible metabolism, um, it's your body's ability to efficiently flip between those sources, meaning sugar and fat. So it's from burning glucose, burning fats, to a lesser extent protein, because protein is what is your amino acid. That's the building block for your muscle. So being able to adapt and switch between these energy sources makes your metabolism flexible, or hence what we talk about flexible metabolism. We don't want to continually be a carb burner or continually be a fat burner. Like, having health is having that flexibility. And when we're learning that about ourselves, we're figuring out a personalized nutrition plan for you for your macronutrients. So, do we all remember what the macronutrients are? Like, can anybody like type it in the chat? What are your big building blocks of macronutrients? What are those main ones? So I'll tell you, because nobody's responding right now, but that's okay. So we're looking at protein, we're looking at fats, we're looking at carbohydrates. Those are the main breakdowns of our macronutrients. So protein is super important for growth repair, maintenance of your body tissue, immune function, and hormone production. Whereas carbohydrates are the body's primary source of energy, especially for your brain and your physical function. Like I said, you want to hike that mountain, you want to ride your bike 20 miles or 5 miles, whatever that is for you. Carbohydrates are going to help you do that. And then fats are the other significant source of energy, and they're going to help you absorb certain vitamins. They're going to give us insulation when we're cold and keep us warm. And they're also essential for hormone production. So when we kind of talked about this, but I wanted to circle back around because this is what's so important for your own personalized nutrition plan of what, and this is just an idea because we can move it around. Basically, we're looking at a diet of about 45 or so carbohydrate, your percentage of what your calories are. And please don't go to 1,200 calories as a female or a male, and then go and burn 500 grams, the 500 calories, and only live on 700 calories. It's just not enough. So you've all heard me say exercise less, eat less, exercise more, eat more. So that mentality of exercise more and eat less breaks down your metabolism. It's not healthy for you. It sends you into willpower, which we learned willpower doesn't work. It'll hit you into cravings, and then you're going to feel, I say this lightly because I don't like the word, but you're going to feel like you have failed yourself. You haven't failed yourself. It's just that you set yourself up to have cravings of sugar and have a dive down. So you need your carbohydrates for brain function and physical activity. So when we're doing a sugar detox, I'm looking at you for getting your carbs, your complex carbs from your vegetables, not your simple starches, especially if you have sugar cravings and you have a sugar problem or pre-diabetes or diabetes. We want your complex carbs to come in through, like, let's talk about it, like spinach, broccoli, bok choy, celery, kale, anything that is more on the green side. And then you're going to want to limit your starchier vegetables, which would be your carrots, your squashes, your zucchini, your avocado. Even though it has good fat in it, it still has starch in it. Olives, things like that. So the carbohydrates we're going to want to lean towards in your quality proteins. Then fats, again, I said they're a good source of energy. Getting healthy fats in, the fats are going to be around, let's say 20 to 30%. Like, that's on a high end. Again, we're going to tweak it. There's no fine number, but a minimum is going to be minimum. If you're trying to burn fat, would be 50, but sometimes people get hungry on that. So I look to 65 to 75 grams of fat works best. And then you're going to make up the rest in protein. Now, remember, many of you that have been following me this whole entire challenge, which is so many of you, you want to remember a minimum grams of protein is going to be 100 grams. What that would look like is if you take your body weight, if you're trying to lose weight, take your body weight and multiply it times 0.8. That will be your minimum grams of protein. And then your maximum is 1 gram per pound of body weight. So say you weigh 150 pounds, that's going to be 150 grams. And then on the low end, I'm just going to guess that the math might be 135 or so. I might be off, so don't quote me, but you kind of get it. That'll be your spread. But you need protein for muscles. And I will tell you, in my experience as a naturopathic doctor, most people don't eat enough protein. So you want to keep that balance, that macronutrient ratio that we just talked about between protein, fats, and carbohydrates in order to have a flexible metabolism. Again, if you're looking to lose weight, you're going to probably aim towards a lower amount of carbohydrates, fats, and then the protein number is not going to really move much. It'll move a little bit. So I'm constantly moving, carbs and fat more than I'm moving protein and carbs. But again, everybody's different. That's what I look at clinically. If you're a muscle builder or you're working out or a trainer, you may be looking at other numbers. But this is what I look at for flexible metabolism, and quality health. So, for example, if you are an endurance athlete, like I just mentioned, or you're somebody that trains people in the gym and they're trying to build muscle, they may need more carbohydrates for energy. I'm sure you've all heard like the carb load before the marathon, right? That's like bulking up all of your muscle cells so that you have enough energy to make it through what your goal is, what your attainable ultra marathon, 30-mile bike ride. I don't know what it is, but you figure out what your ratios work as you build your muscle to have that energy to do what you want to do. So again, I'm just talking general health. And then if you're wanting to gain more muscle, you're going to look at the protein levels around what I just said. So it's important to remember that your quality of your macronutrients, that's more important than the quantity. Like whole grains, fruits and vegetables. So if I give you a carbohydrate number, I don't want you to go out and eat processed foods and junk food to hit that number. In order to get off of sugar, I want you to hit that number with whole foods, quality fruits and vegetables, not refined grains and sugars. And I think I've made that really clear over this whole time, but I just want to like get that really sunk in. Like the carbohydrates are coming from your vegetables first, your fruits second. And then lean proteins and plant-based proteins are generally healthier than like I just had an intake with a patient, and we don't want to do like deli meat, deli ham, deli turkey because there's nitrates in it and they're just not really great. Like that's a processed meat to me. And believe it or not, they often have sugar in them. So I want you to think about if you want turkey, for example, don't go to the deli and order turkey. Buy turkey or get turkey cutlets and actually cook the turkey and then have a whole turkey. And then if you want to put herbs and things on it, if you want to do a little bit of salt or olive oil, however you want to cook it, then you know you're getting a quality protein. So some of your quality fats, like we've talked about, are going to come from avocados, raw olive oils, nuts and seeds. That's going to be so much healthier than saturated fats. So it's really important to know what your nutrition needs are and to keep so that you figure out what works best for you. Yep, Jacqueline, you got it. Sorry, I'm just looking at fats, carbs, and protein. So you get to figure out. That's why I wanted to kind of like sum this back up. We talked about it a couple days ago. Then we talked about the importance of the environment that are going to support you to allow you to get healthy. And now we're like going back to the basics again so that I can really get it hit home. The other pieces that help us have a flexible metabolism, which again, that allow us to be healthy, is the balanced nutrition, like we talked about. The other pieces that are so, so important is regular physical exercise. And people would be like, well, I'm injured, or for now I'm in a wheelchair, my legs are bothering me. You can still do upper body movements. There's still ways to move your body. Where there's a will, there's a way. There's so many options. And of course, we have this whole online entre of places like, I'm in a wheelchair. What kind of exercises can I do? Or my hip hurts, or I hurt my back. What kind of exercises can we do? There's so many options out there, but engaging in that regular physical exercise is going to help you stimulate your metabolism, is going to help you with your calorie burn, and it's going to build lean muscle mass. And lean muscle mass is what's healthy. Has anybody ever heard of a skinny fat person? And no judgment. But I have patients come in, they're like, I don't need to lose any weight. And I do a bioimpedance analysis on them, and they're like 30, 35% fat. They're not eating quality foods and getting out the sugars, so they don't have quality muscle mass. So muscle mass is so important. Cardiovascular and strength training together, that combination, or yoga, tai chi, excuse me, or qigong, that's going to help you optimize your metabolism. Is everybody getting this, or am I like, is it any questions popping up for anybody at this point? Like, moving your body is so important. And again, exercise gets to fit who you are as an individual. It gets to fit who you are as an individual. It doesn't have to be what your friend does. It doesn't have to be what your family does. It gets to be like what works for you. The other piece that's super key is hydration. Half of body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 100 pounds, it's 50 ounces. If you weigh 200 pounds, it's 100 ounces. Like, that's just a general, because people like numbers, because then they can measure it, they can look at it, they can figure it out. And you want it to be quality filtered water. You don't want to use tap water unless you've had it tested. You can do reverse osmosis where, there's a concern that some of the nutrients are leached out. But don't be drinking out of bottled water unless you're doing it yourself, or you have to, it's on the road, because then we're dealing with plastics and we're going down a whole nother avenue. So what hydration does is it's important for your optimal metabolism, because if you're dehydrated, then it can slow down your metabolic process. So proper hydration is going to help support your digestion, which we talked about 2 days ago in the gut digestion class, and it's going to give you quality nutrient absorption. So hydration is so important. And oftentimes, it's going to also help your bowels. People that are constipated, I'm like, look at your water intake, right? As long as you can and you don't have a cardiovascular disease. Sleep. How many people realize that sleep is so important? Like, put sleep in the comments if you realize how important sleep really is. Like, when you sleep, you heal. And you are able to wake up in a relaxed environment and get out of bed and have the energy you need. But if you're not sleeping well, then you're not healing and you're struggling. So sleep is so imperative to a healthy body and a healthy, flexible metabolism. You want to sleep 8 to 9 hours a night. If you're sleep deprived, that can disrupt your hormonal imbalance and negatively impact your metabolism, your metabolic processes, which can lead to weight gain and other health issues. So stress is another piece that we talk about consistently. And a little bit of stresses and things that we need for our body to function is so important. But chronic stress affect the metabolism. Grief can affect the metabolism as well. Grief is like chronic stress on the body, and it can alter the hormones and promote unhealthy habits like cravings of sugar. So when you sleep, you heal. I just said that, but it's so important. So when we're looking at stress reducing activities, we're looking at mindfulness. Remember, we talked about like eating your food quietly, peacefully, not having a screen in front of us, really connecting to your food. Meditation, prayer, breath work, that can all help optimize your well-being and flexible metabolism. What was I going to say? The other piece that's so important to stress is, like, we've probably all heard, or hopefully you have heard, that laughter is the best medicine, and connection and unity. Like, being around people is what God put us on this earth for, right? And so having that connection and having that commitment when we're living our life and feeling loved and laughing and joyful, that can also indirectly help us with our hormonal balancing, and it can help us with our flexible metabolism. And that brings up like one of the reasons, before I continue, that I started Pocket Doc. Join pocketdoc.com, and I'm going to put it up in the I'm going to drop it as a link for all of you. I'm building community because many of you reached out to me and they're like, how can we work with you and hear your messages and connect with you? Like, who doesn't want that? Like, that you can connect with like-minded community that can help support you and laugh with you. And I'll go live with you once a month and just share and connect. Like, that is so huge when you're stepping into detoxing your sugar and getting it out of your body and eating healthy meals, because the truth is that you're probably connected to more people that may not eat as healthy and be okay with that. But when we turn our community around or upside down to people that are healthier, then we're going to get that support we need. It's so important. And then as you customize your nutrition plan for it to fit you as an individual, as well as your workout plan or movement plan, momentum plan, and you step into your health vision, we talked about what is your vision for health? Know that goal, because we know what we track. We can track macros, we can track sleep, we can track water, we can track exercise, but what we track, and when we know we're going after that goal every day, that's how we get there. And we also get there in community. So you all spoke and I listened. And so I'm just super excited about it. It's joinpocketdoc.com. And it's going to be such a fun journey. We've got people signing up and they're already enjoying, and it's just such a great way to connect. Other piece that you want to think about, I'm switching gears back to what I was talking about with flexible metabolism, is you also want to think about your healthy cell nutrition. So when you're eating quality whole foods nutrition, right, then you're supporting cellular health, all of your cells in your body. When you're choosing macros and you're not dumping processed foods with colors and dye, ingredients that you can't read, you're now teaching your cell and giving your cell the information that it needs in order to nourish and support you. And that's going to promote function and overall wellness. And that's how you create a plan. So when you're eating a balance of proteins, carbs, fats, I keep saying this because I want it to stick home. I'm really surprised at how many patients I see, and they're not, and this is no judgment, proteins, fats, and carbs are. They just don't know what the macro makeup is. And so when we're eating these quality foods and feeding our body these quality foods, then we're really getting into health. Like, really, like the movement, and and then when our metabolism is flexible, then we're healthy. So I want to ask you all now, like, I want to open it to questions. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Facebook, Instagram, we've got several people on listening, VIP. Are there any questions, that I can answer about flexible metabolism or any of the 5 or 6 topics that we talked about as far as optimizing your metabolism? Is there anything that, that I can answer to help support you? You guys don't ask a lot of questions. Let's see, we've got a ton of you on Instagram. No questions. So if we don't have any questions, then this was a super easy live today. Like, really like looking at optimizing and having a flexible metabolism for health and feeding your body really quality nutrients. That's really like all I really want to talk about today. Tomorrow, I'm going to close with how to live sugar free and be healthy. So, we're going to look at dealing with some of your sugar cravings and your temptations. How can you goal set? And when you're moving and you're removing from your become free and healthier. And that's why all of you are joining, I'm sure, because you're like, I feel bloated. I don't feel my best. I have low energy. And with you're not gaining the energy that you need because you're not eating whole foods, but you may not even know what that looks like. So I encourage you to go back and think of like what was my health vision for when we started this on Monday? What questions do I have now that we've kind of walked through the macros, we've walked through sugar being processed in the brain and in the gut, and you know, sugar being more of a cholesterol problem than fat. Like high cholesterol is a sugar problem. When we start to cut sugars out, our cholesterol start to come down. So really start to, because many of you have taken notes because we've talked about it, really start to look at what are your goals, how can you get there, and what sort of people or individuals do you need to bring on board for that mindset piece? Because there's going to be times when it's going to feel really tough changing your nutrition. I don't like the word hard, but it's going to feel like you failed, and know that you're never failing. If you make a mistake today with sugar or you eat the wrong foods and you don't feel your best, know that the next meal you can get yourself back on track. We talked about this on Monday or Tuesday, no, maybe Tuesday. You don't want to start eating sugar and go out of control, because that's where the weight gain comes on. And that's where a lot of the pandemic weight gain comes on. That's where a lot of the grief weight gain comes on. So you really want to have that flexibility and, really be aware of what are my goals, what are my macros, and what can that look like. Does that all make sense? And then, needing the support that you may need for you to practice like your abundant health, then I want you to, think about like, who do I need in a community? What can that look like? What sort of mindset do I need? Is it somebody, is it my friend? Is it my next door neighbor? Is it my husband? Is it my wife? Is it my sister? Is it my brother? I don't know. But when you do these pieces together, you're more apt to have success. And that's why I started joinpocketdoc.com, where we have the community and the connection, and you'll hear messages from me, and you'll once a month you'll go live with me, and you will also get a handout once a month. Like those are the individuals that are on the VIP, they're getting handouts so that they can use that as a way to check in, and like their little nice pictures and information and whatnot. I'm going to be creating handouts once a month to help you create health. And this is a stepwise fashion for you to be able to work with me. So I'm going to close now. I'm going to just see, let me take a peek. Does anybody have any questions at all on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook? Are we feeling like we can tackle and we can move forward, and we can really create a flexible metabolism? But don't forget to have fun. Like we're in the Memorial Day weekend right now, and don't be like, I'm going to wait until Tuesday. Maybe try to change one thing that you may not have thought about. that we've talked about over the last 6 days, because we're soon going to be stepping into summer. And you want to feel like you have the energy and the happiness and the fun with these longer days and the sunshine. So, just maybe if you're somebody that would go out, let me use alcohol for a second, and you had 2 glasses of wine, you typically have 2 beers or whatever. Think about one. Or if you go after like potato salad first and the chips first and the saltier foods first, maybe think, okay, let me drink a glass of water. What's on the table that's protein? What's on the table that's a quality fat, if any? And what are better carbohydrates that I can choose from? And maybe you would typically do like, I don't know, 6 teaspoons of something that's carbohydrate that's a little bit heavier. Maybe do 2 tablespoons. All these small incremental changes are what get you to the end goal. It's not cutting it all out together. It's not showing up to that Memorial Day function. It's none of that. It's taking these small steps and figuring out what works for you. And that's what's going to create whole health for you. Like these small steps. I didn't learn how to do it for myself overnight. It took me time, and I am still tweaking. I tell my patients all the time. They're like, "Well, you've been doing it for years, so you get it." No, I'm tweaking every day. Like I have tight hamstring muscles and I'm figuring out like, how is that? Is it because I'm sitting all the time? What do I get to do to move? I might have the food piece under control, but I'm doing self-empowerment, self-help. I'm working out. I'm changing my workouts all the time so that I can feel my best. I challenge you to do that this weekend. Think about one thing that you can do differently at a Memorial Day function or something that makes you happy. Maybe it's bring jokes or have more laughter. But it's time to be in community. It's time to have fun. JoinPocketDoc.com is on the screen. You want to join us. You want to have a blast. You can also join the Facebook group as well. My Facebook Wellness Connection. You're welcome to join. There's some questions, but we'd love to have you there. And, I get to support you on this health journey. So I'm sending you guys so much love. I'll see you tomorrow. Yes, I am coming on tomorrow, 4 p.m. Memorial Day weekend to support you to make sure that you're on track. So I love you guys. Have a beautiful rest of your Friday night, Saturday. I'll see you tomorrow. You know where to find me. And don't go anywhere. I'm going to end the broadcast over here.